Hello.
Hey there, everybody.
This everybody is me, my buddy.
Hey there, Walter.
How are you, Ken?
He's all day.
Good. Be careful what you say. Everything is being recorded.
Okay. I don't have any big secrets.
No, me neither. Eliza is on now.
Hey, good looking.
Oh,
How you feeling today?
good, nice and sporty. You look terrific. I like that shirt.
Thank you. Blue's my color.
You're good, very comfortable, huh?
Payless.
Yeah. Yeah. How's your beer come along there?
Still here.
Your sphere beer, yeah?
Yeah, my wife's ready to throw me out, so we'll see how long that.
I
We'll
guess
see
you
what
don't,
happens first.
you don't shave being regular, huh?
I do, but I'm just enjoying it while it lasts.
You don't get it, be regular.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. Yeah. Your wife let you in the house, huh? Yeah. Getting later every day, Marv. Pretty soon we'll. When they change it starts to go down in June, the middle of June. Okay.
Ursula.
Hello.
No, how are you?
I'm good. Getting close to Shavuos.
Yeah.
I love cheesecake and blintzes, so I'm happy.
I'm happy you're
As
happy.
long as they're flashik.
What's that?
As long as they're flashik blintzes.
Oh, I need a change of scenery every once in a while.
Yeah.
You love the
Eliza,
desert?
Eliza, how's your wife doing?
Baruch Hashem. Like to say, compared to who, right?
I'm going to tell you what you said, it's being recorded.
Gonna blackmail you. Be careful.
I don't know.
Are you-
I spoke to Ernie about 7 minutes ago. He said he was on his way home. I don't know what happened.
Traffic in LA is rough.
Yeah.
Harold, you in the desert?
What's that?
Oh. Yeah,
Are you out in the desert?
No, I didn't go. I'm going right after Shavuos. No, where am I
Gotten
going?
warm. It's over 100
I'm
now.
going after Memorial Day. Yeah. Hi, Ernie.
Hi,
Hello, Ernie.
hi. Mem hey. Rav Shimon Vav lo mashmalei. The Vav the Vishoftecha, he doesn't learn the drasha. That's why he says that's why Vishoftecha means Amichadim Shebishoftecha. That means not the best din in your hometown, but the best din from Yerushalayim. Elameata, that anytime you have a plural word, it refers to two zakanim. So it should be like this. It says v'yatsu. That's two. Umadadu. They should measure shnayim. So the Rabbi Yehuda who said we have 5, Arei Kantisha, we go up to 9. And the Rabbi Shimon who said there was 3, Arei Kanshiva. So the Gemara says the v'yatsu umadadu needed something else. Umabadal chedetanya. V'yatsu hein v'lo shuchehen. That the Zakanim have to come out of Yerushalayim themselves, not shluchim. Umadadu. Shafilu nimsa ba'ali la'ir Let's say it's very clear. They can see by the way the crow flies exactly how much distance. They still have to measure it. Shemitzvah la'asok b'medida. It's a special mitzvah to actually use a tape measure and measure it. More says Masnisin Deloy Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. Our Mishnah, the way we read it, is not like Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. The Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer. Zekenecha zu Sanhedrin. Okay, but Shavtecha ze Melech v'Kohen Gadol, right? And our Mishnah didn't say that the Melech and Kohen Gadol have to show up. Now, how do we know that Shavtecha refers to the Melech and Kohen Gadol? Melech, t'chsiv Melech b'mishpat yamid aretz. Kohen Gadol t'chsiv uvasa ela kohanim alviim ve'ela shofet asher yiyeh. So the kohanim are connected to being a shofet. Okay, iboilu. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov ben Melech v'Kohen Gadol u'depolik. Is Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov only arguing about the Melech v'Kohen? Aval b'Sanhedrin, but when regarding the Sanhedrin, Ik Rabbi Yehuda, Ik Rabbi Shimon Svirale. He's not really arguing with Rabbi Shimon or Rabbi Yehuda. They also said it comes from the Sanhedrin. And that it's enough 3 or 5. Odilma b'Sanhedrin nami pligi. Maybe Adikula Sanhedrin. Maybe this is a third shita, that it's not 3 or 5, but rather the whole Sanhedrin has to come. On Rav Yosef, Toshma. Matzon zakan mamrei abe pagi v'himru alein. A zaken mamrei is a chacham that goes against the psak of Sanhedrin. But let's say the zaken mamrei, when he showed up, the Sanhedrin was not in its normal place, Belishkas Agazis. It was a place called Abipagi, which is like a suburb of Yerushalayim. V'himra leyan, and that's where this Zokain went against the psak of the Sanhedrin. Yachol tehei amra so hamra. I might think that his opinion would still be worthy of punishment. Talmud Lamar, ve'kom tov alita elamakom. Malamit shamakom goyrim. Where the Sanhedrin sits is goyrim, and the Zakin Mamre's din only has a chalois when the Sanhedrin is in its proper place. Now, in this sugya, where we have this concept that maybe the Sanhedrin is not in its place, the nofik kama. How many people of the Sanhedrin went to Beis Pagi? If only a minority of the Sanhedrin went there, so why would we think bichlal that we would have a case of Zakin Mami? Maybe those that are in the place where he is, in the Lishka Sagazis, hang on. For Mordechai, I'm teaching Daf. I sent you a text which will explain everything. Okay. No, I had major surgery this morning, like 3-4 hours long. No, so it works a lot better for me late afternoon, like like we used to do it like at 4:30 when no, so I sent you a text. Let's try to do it tomorrow. I'll call you tomorrow and see if it works for you. So if only a small part of the Sanhedrin went to Beis Pagi, so then it's not even a case of Zakin Mamri. Maybe the people who are with him in the Lishkas HaGazos hold like him. And it's a majority opinion. El Pshita did not Kulu. Rather, the whole Sanhedrin went. Ulamai. Now, why would the Sanhedrin go? Ilad Varishus. Mimotzi Nafki. Is Sanhedrin allowed, the whole Sanhedrin allowed to go on just a whim? Baksiv. Srarecha Agana Sar Al Yechsar Mazik. This is a Pasuk in Shir Hashirim that they made a drasha that Sanhedrin are like officers and leaders of Klal Yisrael, and they sit in like a half moon. That's a Chatzi Sar, and Ayasar Mazug Sheim Nitzrach Echad Mehem. Lot says that if one of them has to leave, so Im Yesham Esrim Shlosha. If when he leaves 23 behind, he can go. So all of them cannot just pick up and leave for Dvar Rishus. Ela Pshita, why did the Sanhedrin leave the Dvar Mitzvah? And what mitzvah? Lamai, Lav Lamdidus Egla, and therefore we have the sheet of Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakovi. There seems to be a riot of Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov that when he says Sanhedrin, he means the whole Sanhedrin. There's no proof from there. Maybe they went There's other mitzvahs that sometimes Sanhedrin has to go for. For example, they have to add to the square mileage of the city of Yerushalayim or the Azara. It did not. Ein mosifin ala ir v'alazaros, the ear of Yerushalayim, and the Azaras of the Migdash, ela bezin shel shivim ve'echad. The Sanhedrin 71 people have to make that determination. So there's no raya yet that when Rav Yezer says Sanhedrin, it means the whole Sanhedrin. Hani kavosid Rav Yosef. I'll bring you a baraisa to support Rav Yosef. Motzon Abes Pagi v'him aleim. That this Talmid Chacham who opposed Sanhedrin found Sanhedrin not in the Lishkas HaGazos but in Beis Pagi. And why were they there? Kigon sheyotzu lemdidas egla. They went to measure egla rufa. O lahasif ala azorah. Yachol te'am rasam hamra. I might think that his opposition makes him a zakin mamri. Once Sanhedrin is no longer in Lishkat Gozis, then the zakin mamri din doesn't apply. Then the Mishnah said, Nimtza Tomun Begal, if the corpse was buried, a Toli Be'ilan, or hanging in a tree, then there was no Egla Arufa. Lema Masnis Rabbi Yehudi v'lo Rabba. Let us therefore say that the authorship of the Mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda, not the Chacham, the Tanya. It says V'shachachta oimer basadeh, that the din of shikha, that you're gathering the stalks and you forget some, so that goes to the aniyim. However, prat l'tomun, that if the stalk was buried, even though you forgot it, it doesn't have a din of shikha. Did Rav Yehuda. V'chachamim oimrim basadeh is l'rabos esatam, that even a stalk that's buried is also included. So maybe we'll say that since, according to Chachamim, it says Ba'adamah, Maybe you're also going to be marbek corpse that's been buried in the ground, and it's the same machlokes. Gemara says no. Amar afilu temer rabbana. You could say that even though the Chachamim learned ba'adama by an oimer that it is considered shikha, but here they would agree that tamun would not qualify for egla rufa. Ki hacha minyana dekra, hasa minyana dekra. Dichsiv, ki matzei chalal. You find a corpse. Anytime you find it, which l'chora would mean on the ground or maybe under the ground, then it says ba'adama, in the ground. Maybe prat l'tamun. So mi'inyana dekra, the chachamim there could very easily accept a drasha which excludes a buried corpse. However, by shikha, hasam inyana dekra, dichsiv, ki siktzor k'tzircha b'sadcha, if you're going to harvest your field, v'shachachta oimer basadeh, shikha dumya l'katzir. That which you forget is treated similarly to that which you harvest. Ma katzir begoloi, you harvest something that you see above the ground. Avshikha begoloi. And therefore, when the Torah writes, because of Rachmana b'Sadeh, it's l'rabbi satamun. It's to include even stock that's buried. Okay. Now, Rav Yehuda nami tepukle, that mishikha dumya l'katzir. Maybe Rav Yehuda should learn the same drasha to compare that which is golui, and he doesn't have to darshan the word sadeh. Or says chanami. That's how he learns. Ela b'sadeh, which seems to be a miut or a riboy. Lamali. Well, if Rabbi Yehuda doesn't need it, why was it written? Meboy le raboy strikas kamo. That if you forgot to harvest some of the standing stalks, even if it's still mechuber to the karka, it has the din of shikha. The Rabbanon shikha kamo minalahu. Where did the Rabbanon learn this din? That if you forget to harvest a standing stalk, it also goes to the aniyim. Navkaluhu, they learn it from a different pasuk. Mi kisiktzor k'tzircha b'sadcha v'shachachta. That even if you forgot to harvest some of the field. What does Rabbi Yehuda, who doesn't need this pasuk? What does he do with this pasuk? M'boy lei l'Ravavol Rabbi Eliezer. Sh'am Ravavol Rabbi Eliezer. Prat l'shetzofu omrim l'toch sadeh chaveru. Some of his stalks from his field blew into the field of his friend. There it's not called shikha. How do the Rabbanon, how do they learn that something that blows into a neighbor's field is not shikha? Because it should have written bisadeh. Why did it say bisadcha? It has to be yours and not in somebody else's field. Rabbi Yehuda, what does he learn from this diyu? So he doesn't learn anything. He doesn't see a reason to make a drasha from the word sada to sadcha. Boy Rav Yirmi, Safu oymen l'sach sadeyu. Let's say a stalk from his friend's field blows into his field. Do we say avira sadik dami? Is the airspace of your field like the field itself in the shikha? Olav kesada dami. The oimer is not on the ground. It's either it's on his friend or it's on something else. So since it's in the airspace, is it considered like it's in the field or not? Armile Rav Kan Rav Papi Armi Law Rav Kan Rav Zvi Tifshot Le. We'll answer it from a Vavo B'Shem Rav Eliezer Shomer, because they already learned Prat L'Shetzafu Amorim L'Toch Sadeh Chavero, that if one of his stalks blows into his friend's field, it's not considered shikha. So we're going to darshan chavero in. If it's in his friend's field, it's not shikha, but l'toch sadehu lo, and it is shikha. However, the Gemara says u'tamech, based on that reasoning, maybe l'toch sadeh chavero. When we talk about it going into your friend's field, safu in. If they're blowing, yes, but munachim lo. If it comes to rest, no. And you could have said v'habeinin b'sad chavaleka. In order for it to be shikha, it's got to be in your field, and it's not. Ella, you have to learn shalatoch sdeh chavero. It's not necessarily that they're blowing or sitting on something else. Afilu munachim, even if they're resting on the ground. V'haidika omer etzafu. The only reason that the Gemara said that they're flying or floating, the lo mishkachas law, that it's just going to sit on the field and not blow. Ela b'tzafu. That means it's much more. Yeah, that's the way it's going to be, and that's fell there. So you can't be darshan. You can't be medayik from tzafu. Toshma. Oimer she'echzik bo lo holicha le'ir. He held on to this stalk the period of time that it takes to take it into the city. V'hinich lo gabe chavero. Or he put it on a stalk of his friend. V'shak, when he forgot these two stalks. So hatachton shikha, the one on the bottom is shikha. Va'elyon eno shikha. The top one is not. Rav Shimon, Rav Shimon, shnein einon shikha. Neither are mershik. Hatachton, because it's covered, and we already drash a prat l'tamun. Va'elyon, they shoot soft. The top one is like it's floating on something else. So ad kam loy pligi. Maybe the machlokes is only betachton. But maybe everybody will agree that the top one would be excluded because it's soft and it's not on the ground, it's rather in the airspace. And therefore we're going to be medayik from here that if it's not touching the ground, but just in the airspace, it's not shikha. No, we can't learn from there. Shiny Asam Kivan de Ichzik Bey, he's had it long enough that he could take it into the city, Zacha Bey. The Balabais has been Zoichet in it. And not because of this issue that it's not completely on the ground, but rather it's soft sitting on some other item. So why, Dafka, did you tell me the case? It's sitting on his friend. Afila b'sodanami would be the same thing if it's in the field itself. We're not talking about the upper stalk, mishum tachton, because they argued whether the bottom one is considered buried or not. Reb Shimon, they shoot Safka Amar. He gave the reasoning because not that he had felt that it was, since it was tzaf, that's why it's pater mishikha. So Ema, you have to amend what he said. Mivneshu kitzaf, it's like kitzaf. That if you have one stalk and another stalk, the upper stalk, it's as if it's not come to rest, but rather it's like floating around. Amrabaya. Hareini Benazai b'shukat Tveria. He says, I'm an expert and sharp like Benazai when he used to darshan in the marketplace of Tveria. And I will answer all questions posed to me. Armalehum and Rabbanon Labaya. So one of the Chachamim asked Abaya the following question. Shnei chalalim, two corpses, zeh al gabi zeh. One is lying on top of another. Mehechanu moeded. So from where on the corpse do you measure to the cities? Do we say min b'mino avi? Listen, they're both human corpses. And therefore the bottom one is considered l'tamun. And min b'mino lo avi l'tzav. When you have the same species, it's not considered that the bottom mace is tamun. And therefore, me'elyon moedid, maybe you measure from the top corpse. Oidilma, min b'mino havitzav. Since they're both humans, it's considered that the top one is like floating. Umin b'mino lo havitamun, and we don't view the bottom one as buried. So we measure from the bottom corpse. Oidilma, min b'mino havitamun. We still say that the bottom corpse is considered buried, even though it's min b'mino. And min b'mino havitzav. And therefore it's considered like hasn't come to rest. And therefore lo mitachton moediv, lo me'alyon moediv. We don't measure from either. The halacha and the Rambam on this issue, how you shnei arugim zeh al gabi zeh, you measure from the top one. But the Ravid says the problem never was solved in the Gemara, and therefore there is no psak. But the Rambam seems to be going that min b'mino is tamun, and tzaf only refers to when something floats on water. But when you talk about land, there's no din of tzaf. Amr lay. So Abaya was posed the question. Abaya answered to Nisua. The answer is from a Baraisa. Right? A person owned the stock enough time to take it into the city. And he put it down on top of his friend, he forgot it there. The bottom one is considered shikha. Va'elyon einin shikha. Neither are shikha, because atachtun and neshu tamun. The bottom one is viewed as if it was covered. Va'elyon and neshu tzaf. And Savrua, the Talmidim thought, the Hani Tanoi, the Chacham Rab Shimon, Rav Yudah who said Bisade Prat L'Tamun. My love, the Mar Sava, Rab Shimon holds min b'mino havi b'tamun, that if something is the same species, the bottom one is considered buried, and therefore the bottom stalk is not shikha because it's tamun. We say it's prat l'tamun. The other chacham Umar Savar lo havi tamun, and it is shikha. So what's this low? It's not the same machlokes. If they hold like they could have held the kula alma min b'mino havitom. That really the question of min b'mino, the bottom one would be considered buried. They're arguing in the machlokes between Rav Yudah and Chachamim. The Rabbanan k'Rabbanan that who are machayev shikha even if it's buried. Rab Shimon ben Yehuda Savak Rab Yehuda that potters it. Now, iachi, that the machlokes is regarding tamun, then my irya gabi chavera filu ba'ofar v'tzor. Why did you talk about this case where it's on top of his friend? Even if it was buried in dirt or in a rock, this is ena chanami. But loidicha kochas Rav Yehuda afilu min b'mino. Even if it's the same one item on the other item, it's still considered tamun. Period. Ton Rabbanan says by Egla Rufa, Ki matzei chalal badama, nofel basadeh. Chalal, that's a corpse killed by a sword, v'lo chonu, not choked, halal, v'lo mefarper, has to be dead, and not like still moving. Badama, v'lo tomen bagal, like we said, there's no egla rufa if he's buried. Noifel v'lo toilet be'ilim. If he's hanging in a tree, there's no egla rufa. This saw v'lo tzafap ne'amai, has to be on dry land, not on water. Eliezer Omer bekulon imaya halal, if he was a sword killed by the sword, orphan, and we don't care whether he was found in a tree or in the water. Tanya Amar Yosef Rabbi Yehuda, Armel Rabbi Lazar. Don't you agree that if it was choked and lying in a dump, that there's an exclusion from Amgla Rufa? Alma shechalal v'lo chonu, that it's talking about somebody killed with a sword and not choked. Achanami ba'adama v'lo tomu begal. So this, we use the same deal in the ground, on the ground, but not buried. What does Rabbi Lazar hold? Rabbi Lazar holds we're not memait from the lush of the pasuk, but there's a halal yisera. See, there's another word halal, and since it's specifically repeated, then even he agrees that we exclude the case of being choked from the case of egla. Then the Mishnah said, Samach l'sfar o le'ir sheruba nachrin. If the corpse is found near the border or near a city that's the majority non-Jews, then there was no egla rufa. T'chsiv, ki yimatzei prat l'motzui. That means on the border and near Goyish cities, there's a lot of corpses. So in cases where it was common to find corpses, the din of egla rufa didn't apply. We also learned only ir shein ba bezdin. If the city didn't have a bezdin, we didn't measure there. The be'inim ziknei ha'ir v'leka. Ziknei ha'ir refers to bezdin. So ein modim el ir sheish ba bezdin pshita. Since it said the Tana le'ir she'ein ba bezdin, ani adana she'ein modim el ir sheish ba bezdin. It seems like a dover portion. So Kamashman Keditanya. Minayin Shem Nemtza Samach Leir Shem Bezdin. You find a corpse near a town which doesn't have a bezdin. Shemenichin Osa. That you leave the corpse there. Umoidin Leir Sheyesh Bezdin, and you measure to a city. Talmud Lomar. V'lachuzik ne'ayrahi. Mikol Makom. And even if the city is not close, you still have to measure to the closest city that has a bezdin. Mishnah. Nimsa mechuvan bein shtei ayaros. You measure to two cities, and the measurement is exactly the same. Shtein mevir shtei agolos tivrabi. Each city brings its own eglah, and you decapitate two calves. Ein Yerushalayim mevia egla rufa. Yerushalayim is excluded. If you find corpses near Yerushalayim, there's no din of egla rufa by Yerushalayim. Nimsa rosha b'mokom echad v'gufa b'mokom acher. You find a decapitated corpse, the head in one place, the body in another place. Moilichen harosh eitz lagu. You bring the head to the body, and you measure from there. Divrei Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Kiva Oimer, no. You bring the goof eitz larosh. You bring the body to where the head is, and you measure from there. Now, me'ein ayu moidedin. From what part of the body did you measure? Rabbi Yezer Oimer mitibura, from his belly button. Rabbi Kiva Oimer mechotmo, from his nose. Rabbi Yezer ben Yaakov Oimer mimakam shenasa chalal v'hu mitzavah. Most chalalim had their head cut off, so you measure from their neck. That's what made him a chalal. We paskin that we measure from the nose.
Even when when the head's decapitated?
No, the din about if you find the head and the body, you bring the body to where the head is, and you bury it there, and then same thing by a mace mitzvah.
And then you would measure for
You'd measure-
Eglah Rufa from the after you bring the body to the nose.
After you bring the body to the head, you measure from the nose.
Got it.
My time at Rabbi Yezer. Rabbi Yezer said you bring 2 egla rufas. Ksavar she'efshar l'tzamtzem. He held that it practically you could measure and have them reach an exact measure. We're going to see in Shas there's a machlokes. Efshar l'tzamtzem or ein efshar l'tzamtzem. We generally paskin that ein efshar l'tzamtzem, that we cannot come up with an exact measurement. To say that they are exactly equal, Rav Eliezer said you could. That's why you bring 2. And when it says krova, well, it's supposed to be the closest city. It's not dafka. If you look kroi voice, meaning if 2 cities are the same distance, you bring 2. Okay. The din is you bring 2 egla rufas. Then it says Venu Shalayim Avi egla rufa. Shamar Kra Ki Matzei Chalal Ba'adama Asher Hashem Asem Elokecha Noisen L'Chal Arishta. And Ksavar, this Tana holds Yerushalayim Lo Nischalka L'Shvatim. Yerushalayim was an international city, meaning it wasn't divided and given to one of the Shvatim. And nobody in Israel had a Chaluk in Yerushalayim. It belonged to everybody. And therefore, you can't fulfill Nosin L'Chal Arishta. Then we said,
I don't understand that.
and the din is ein moded in Yerushalayim. L'fi she'ein Yerushalayim avim egla rufa. Even shelo nischalka l'shvatim.
So if a city, you're not bringing an egla rufa because the city didn't behave nicely to the person or anything. You bring it because there's shvatim over there. I don't understand. We learned the whole pshat of bringing egla rufa is because basically the city is responsible, and then we bring a korban so that because they didn't look after the guy.
But it has to be. But the pasuk says, "Ki matzei chalal b'damasher Hashem l'kacha nosen l'chal rishta," and Yerushalayim wasn't given lareshas, and therefore it's excluded from the din. You're absolutely correct.
What about all of the Ari Levia? Or
Like
Hebron, for that matter.
Hebron and the 42 cities.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
But remember, the 42 cities
They were still in Halek. They were still
were in one of the Shvatim, like Shimon, Naphtali. So that city was given to Levium, but it still belonged to the Shevet there.
Yeah, but maybe it had diplomatic, like somebody runs into a consul or he runs into the headquarters of a different city, of a different state or country, so you can't touch him because he's not anymore actually on your ground. So if it was in the chalik of the Levim, in other words, this chalik was given to the Levim, to administer. Kenny's asking a good question.
No, the Levium cities were Ari Miklat.
I understand.
That's a din in Ari Miklat. But the Levium, the cities were also situated, like Hebron was in the tribe of Judea.
I hear what you're saying, but maybe it
So
has
it's not like Yerushalayim, which wasn't given to Shvatim. It
No,
was
but-
given to Shvatim, but Levium had the right to live there.
you know, if you go to an embassy, it has a din of the embassy. In other words, the Levium didn't have any Yerusha. They also were Yorship. They didn't have any Yerusha. They didn't have any land. They were the
It
Malabim.
was owned, but it was owned by a Judean who rented their houses to the Levium and collected rent. Because it was property of the Judaites, or the Naphtaliites, or the Binyaminites.
Okay.
We know the Kohanim did the same thing. The Kohanim rented, it didn't own property. They didn't all live in Yerushalayim. They lived all over Eretz Yisrael. Okay.
Where they? Okay.
They lived all over. And remember, they came 1 week, every 24 weeks to Yerushalayim and worked, and they went back to Tzfat or wherever they lived.
Okay.
They rented. They didn't own property because it wasn't given to them in Yerusha. Yerushalayim as a whole wasn't given to anybody. Now, we've been told that the Mokum HaMikdash belonged to Shevet Binyamin, and there was a Ritzua that extended out from Shevet Yehuda. So it's a little bit in contradistinction to the Tan of this Mishnah. So the Chura, you see there's a machlokes, whether Yerushalayim was Nischak L'Shvatim or not. Now we paskin that it was not, at least regarding Egla Rupa, that it's considered that it was not Nischak L'Shvatim. Okay. Then we said, Nimtza Rosho Mimakom, if the head was found in one place, etc., there was machlokes. What do? Do you bring the goof to the body, the goof to the head, or the head to the body? For my kamiflagi. Is the question, do you measure from the head or from the body? Well, we already answered that. We asked the question in the Mishnah, from where do we measure? Must be the ratio, this part in the beginning of the Mishnah, Lobim Dinaskina. We're not dealing with the question of where we measure from. Amr Rav Yitzchak, here is Bedin Meis Mitzvah Kana Makomo. Where do you bury a Meis Mitzvah? Where the head is or where the body is? Because a Meis Mitzvah is koina its place. If you find a dead body somewhere, you bury him where you found him. The question is, if the head was in one place and the body was in somewhere else, what is the din regarding which makom was it koine? Vachi kamar, lekoivroi, kana mekoimoi. And ve'echan shenim serosh makom echad v'guf makom acher. If the head was in one place, the body was somewhere else. Moilich narosh etz laguf. You bring the head to the goof and then you bury. That's Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Kiva or Maguf etz larosh. You bring the body to the head and you bury him there. We paskin like Rabbi Kiva. B'may kamiflagi. Mar savar gufe beduchte nafel. Rachel did not even know. Great svara. When somebody is killed, let's say his head is cut off, the body is going to drop where it is. The head may roll somewhere. So it makes more sense, says Rabbi Eliezer, to bring the head to the body. The body can't move after the head's been cut off. But Marsav, Rabbi Kiva holds, Reisha Echad Nafel. No, where the head fell, that's where it is. And the gufa who deroid us, the body, like a chicken, when you cut its head off, it can run. Same thing here, the body can run further from where the head was. And we paskin like Rabbi Kiva. Then we argued, Me'ayin ayu moidudin. From where did you measure? By the way, we had the same machloikas somewhere else. Shabbos, when a building collapsed on a person, and you're given the right to Machal Shabbos and to dig out the body. And the question is, what part of the body do you go to? Do you go to the belly button, the tiburo, or do you go to his nose? Because you want, tiburo is where his heart is. So they want to know, is his heart beating? Means, where's the seat of life? We paskin, you go to the nose. So that's where the breath. That's why the Rabbanut in Israel paskin that brain death exists, because when the brain dies, there's no stimulation of respiration. The test that you conduct, whether someone is brain dead, is you turn off the respirator and you see whether there's a stimulation to breathe. If there isn't, then that's one of the criteria of brain death. Here, the same machlokas. Mar sover ikar chayusa ba'ape. Life is in the nose. So you measure from the nose. Umar sover ikar chayusa b'tibura is in the center of the body. We're really referring to the heart. Lema kiani tanoi. Now, what about the following machlokas? Me'echad avlad noitzer. The fetus, the developing fetus, from where does it start? Me'roshai. It really, the development begins from the head. V'cheinu omer mimei imo atagoizi. V'oimer yezi nazir chavashlicha refers to the head. Abisholem mitiburo, from his belly button. Umishalech sharsha elecha, and he grows up and down. That's why the belly button is in the middle. Moore says, no, you don't have to sort of conjoin these two machlokas. Afilu tema kabishol. Ad kol shemana kama abishol elin yitzira. Abishol maybe says it starts from the belly button creation. He says it was created from the middle. In chayusa. But where is the seat of life? Everybody agrees that it's nose. Yaakov Oimer, we measure b'mokum shenasa chalal. How did it become a corpse? From his neck, because that's how he got killed. My Talmid Rav Eliezer ben Yaakov. Yidirsiv laseis oitcha el tzavarei chalalei rishonim. So you see, the word halal is connected to the word tzava. Okay, we'll pick this up tomorrow.
Shkoyach, Ernie, very nice.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot. Thank you. Good night.
This must be one of the longest daf it's a long daf, a lot of words on this.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's a long daf.
Okay.
Okay, tomorrow we're going to learn at 9:00.
No, why? There's no shear.
Oh, there's no tzvika. Okay, so we can learn at 8:15.
8:10, 8:15. Okay.
Whenever I get back.
Okay.